Well under budget at £725,000, this house has a large, well-equipped kitchen, certainly on their list of must-haves, as well as a rural aspect and great transport links to London. Contrasting with the other two properties, our mystery house has an ultra-modern interior, and with 3 bedrooms, it also had the least amount of space upstairs. Certainly a property worth considering, but definitely challenging in style for Will and Laura.
I quite like the kitchen. It's that contemporary feel, which isn't too bad in a kitchen. I'm not sure about the rest of the house.
Well, the location is just amazing. It's got everything we could possibly want from a location point of view. And it's also got great views, plenty of countryside around, and it's near to the pub as well. So couldn't ask for more on that score.
And I like the sort of open out into the garden bit, and we'd lovely to put a conservatory on there or something.
Yeah, we could do.
As a property, I like it. It's got a good feel about it. It's in a wonderful location. It's just a little bit small.
Hey, you're whizzed round there.
Yeah, it's not very big.
You've seen everything we have to offer, so I think you should have a think. We'll relocate and talk through it all.
Okay.
Ready? Come on. Although the Chilterns conjures visions of thatched cottages and villages of flint and brick, Amersham is home to the first modernist country house to be built in Britain. Known as High and Over, the property was a collaboration between architect Amias Connell from New Zealand and Professor Bernard Ashmole. Built in 1929, this ultra-modern property wasn't embraced by all the locals. As I pass it on my travels quite regularly, I've been intrigued by this decidedly un-Chiltern-like house, so I jumped at the chance to be shown around by Alan Powers, the Professor of Architecture and Cultural History at the University of Greenwich. And was this meant to shock?
Well, I'm sure it was, yes.
It did, didn't
I mean, the Connell and other architects from Australia and New Zealand, they didn't have that much respect for the sort of English niceties of old Tudor brickwork and crumbly bits and that kind of thing. So far at this point in England, there was very, very little in that style. So when this was finished, it made a huge impact.
I think we should get in, don't you? Come on. Modernism was about creating visions of the future, using new technologies such as reinforced concrete and steel, buildings for a new way of thinking. By 1931, Country Life devoted a large feature to the building, which read, "Here is architecture, pure and unalloyed by sentiment, reminiscence or claptrap." Referred to sardonically by locals as the Aeroplane House, their words were grimly echoed in World War II, as it said that the powerful and visual Y-shaped design of High and Over was used by German bombers as a directional marker. In the 1960s, it was nearly torn down, but by the 1970s, the drama and sincerity of the design had weathered the architectural assaults, and in 1971, English Heritage listed the building. There are also some design sort of characteristics attached to modernism.
Well, you can see here in the hexagonal pattern of the room and then the triangles on the floor, this is the sort of guiding idea of the geometry of the house. Not so typical of the way modernism carried on after that, in fact, but this is the sort of Art Deco phase, which is very obsessed with angles and geometry.
And using light as much as you possibly can, natural light.
Yes, yes, like sort of bringing windows right the way down to the floor.
Yeah.
Very light for the time.
Apart from the opulent chrome front doors, the 3-storey building houses original features like the gilded Art Deco dining room with authentic lighting. The steel-framed windows and doors are typically modernist, and the striking hole that once allowed a ground floor fountain to travel through to the first floor is a reminder of the extravagance of Connell's design. Thankfully, the current owners have chosen to keep many of the original features, and the decor is sympathetic to the aesthetics of modernism, shown off in the living area and in the bedrooms. I presume this staircase is original?
Very much, yes. And you get these fabulous views sort of through the space, and that's very much a modernist thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible, love it. An important philosophy of modernism was to reclaim the footprint of the house on upper levels, and that's precisely what Connell has achieved with this roof terrace. Why do you love the modernist house so much?
I think it's a fantastic expression of an idea. It's almost a kind of romantic idea, because it's a dream that didn't totally happen. I think we're still waiting for it, but there are moments when the sun shines and you know, it all lights up, and you sort of believe in this great optimistic hope that life is going to be good for everybody.
Will and Laura have been weighing up the pros and cons of the charming Chiltern properties we've shown them. And now it's time to find out their thoughts on all three. So, have you enjoyed the experience, first of all?
It's been brilliant, yeah. It's been such a good experience because we've really been able to see places that we'd never have considered looking at before. So, yeah, excellent.
Good, good. Let's talk about the properties. We'll start with the idyllic thatched cottage. It really was a picture postcard perfect, wasn't it?
It was fantastic. Yeah, we couldn't have asked for a better first house to view by any means. The little rabbits in the garden, all the birds around, it was perfectly cottagey. It was wonderful. Absolutely lovely.
Yeah, the look of the place is incredible, and it's got that isolation as well, so you really feel like you're out in the countryside.
You seem to really, really love the downstairs space, but you weren't that convinced with upstairs.
That sums it up very well. Yeah, I think if the upstairs had been of identical size to the downstairs, we would definitely want to go for that property. But as it is, upstairs a little bit small. There are 4 bedrooms on paper, but in terms of usable space, it's not quite so easy to see how it would work.
Let's move on to the old chicken farm. Lots of space there.
Yeah, I mean, the place was huge. I think it would take us a while just to work out where to put everything, frankly.
If you had the furniture to fill it.
Yes, we'd probably just live up one end of it and leave the rest for later.
I think the house I rather liked, actually. I think I liked it more than Will did. But yes, the proximity of the neighbours in the back was what let it down for me.
Finally, the mystery property next to the pub that you already knew. Right in the countryside, in a perfect location.
Yes. It would be perfect if it just had one extra bedroom, really.
Right. Any of the properties you're going to see again?
I think probably the old chicken farm. That's the one I would go back and see again. Obviously, there's a lot to see there.
Yeah.
I'd want to have a bit more of a think about how we could use the rooms there.
And you?
I agree with Will, yes. I mean, that property had a lot to commend it, and although I was keener on it than Will, I really would like to explore the area, see how close the schools are, see how long it takes to walk to the station, that sort of thing as well.
Hey, well, this is good then. It hasn't been a waste of time.
Well, definitely not.
No, by no means.
Well, listen, I've thoroughly enjoyed meeting you. You've both been so positive. You've seen through the negative and you're dwelling on the positive, so I think you'll be here in no time at all. Cheers.
Cheers.
Great to see you. Well, Will and Laura's Chilterns adventure has come to an end, and it's obvious that they're so enamoured with their current property, but for the fact that it's in the city. You know, it's going to be tough for them to find like for like in an area where property comes at such a premium. But in the little time that we've spent with them, I think we've given them plenty of food for thought. And who knows, they might go for one of our properties. Only time will tell. Until next time, goodbye. If you'd like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales or England and need our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.
Well, the sun rises on a Flogget valuation day from the heart of the Pennines over on BBC Two now. And here later, follow one couple's personal story of IVF treatment, the science of conceiving in Bang Goes the Theory at 7:30.